Welcome to my Steelseries Aerox 3 Wireless 2022 review. A mouse from a once legendary manufacturer Steelseries. Their previous mice have received a mixed response from most as they've been charging a premium for inferior technology in comparison to their rivals. How will this mouse fare against some of the big boys these days? Well, not very well, but I'll explain myself over this review. So this mouse is approximately 120mm long, 67mm wide and 38mm tall and weighs 68 grams. For the shape, well, I'm going to be very upfront right now, it really hurts my hand. So my usage with it in terms of gameplay hasn't been the most thorough. I have been using it casually, as when I lounge I use a lighter grip anyway and it's been fine. It just hasn't been given a rigorous grinding session that most of the mice I review get. If you use a claw grip or anything that's a bit lighter on the mouse, then you should be okay. This mouse also has an IP54 rating, which means it's protected against dust and also splashes of water. Personally, this makes no difference to me. I just feel like this is one of those marketing gimmicks, and this is literally coming from someone that has spilled water on their mice a lot accidentally. In regards to the coating, there's not a whole lot of it going around because there are some square shaped holes covering most of it. However, the coating is actually pretty nice, so if the whole mouse was made of this coating, I think it would be pretty neat. It's a nice matte coating. It might just be because of the colour, but it's not really similar to the previous Steelseries Prime Wireless that I reviewed. Anyway, the coating is still nice in the areas that you'll have to touch it. With the mouse 1 or 2 switches, you're getting Steelseries' very own magnetic optical switch. Oh wait, no, never mind. It's using the TTC Gold micro switches, probably because these have an IP54 rating as well. For me, these feel closer to Omron switches than the favoured KLGM 8.0s that we've been seeing a lot of, and personally in comparison to the Prime Wireless, so it's the magnetic optical switch that they've made themselves, I think these are inferior. They just don't have the same crispiness or consistency. The side buttons are well placed and easy to use for me, but I think maybe they are a bit too low down. I find them very easy to trigger by mistake, so if you have some more important binds applied to the sides, then you might find them quite a liability. Not only that, but they are really thin. I don't know if that's a problem though, I just thought I'd comment on it. You have the DPI toggle which sits below the scroll wheel, which does its job. You also have a slider on the other side of the mouse that lets you move from Bluetooth to 2.4 GHz and off. For the scroll wheel, well, it's a bit bad. The notches are very soft, so scrolling is a bit unreliable. There's been many occasions where it's sat in between 2 notches and I've just randomly jumped in game. The switch itself is also very poor, feeling incredibly mushy and flimsy. So this scroll wheel is definitely not up to my very high standards. Anyone that uses it regularly will probably want to miss this. For the feet, you get 2 decent sized pads of PTFE. There is no sensor ring for this either, which is a bit of a downside for me. Regardless, this has felt pretty nice on all pads that I have been using, so performs as you'd expect really. They say it's been fine-tuned for the Steelseries mouse pads. I've honestly found no benefit. It's felt great on my Quick Heavy and on other mouse pads that I own as well. For the wireless and battery life section, now here's something, if you excuse the aggressive language, vexes me. You'll see on the product pages on Amazon and Steelseries' own website, you'll see the claim of 200-hour battery life, which is a high number. On Amazon, it's even in the product's name. That's pretty significant for a gaming mouse. Some may know where I'm going with this. This number is on Bluetooth, which is an inferior connection as it's heavily affected by latency and can be heavily affected by other devices. And it's also limited to 125 Hz. They even have a graph on their website comparing their 200-hour battery life to other mice, and this comparison might be these other mice on 1000 Hz. It's technically not wrong, but it's misleading. They also don't even specify that it's on Bluetooth until you expand the specifications section at the bottom of the website. On the Amazon page, it mentions nothing of it at all apart from a 100-hour high performance. So they've been intentionally vague just to really boost their advertising. The 2.4 GHz wireless battery life is at 80 hours, which is good, and it has fast charging, which is also good. It just seems like they're trying to do what they can to make their mouse sound a lot better than the competition. For the cable, it is a paracorded lightweight cable, so in the times that you do have to charge it, it's pretty easy to do so. The charging port is a little bit loose, so when you're plugging it in, it can fall out sometimes, but honestly, just learn to charge your mouse. Anyway, wireless performance has been fine with it. However, the wake up time is really bad. It's worse than the Prime Wireless, which activates after like a couple of seconds, but this one sometimes takes like 5+ seconds to wake up, which is really poor. The software is also pretty bloated. There's 6 main areas and you only really need one to configure the mouse. The rest is just trash like moments to record your in-game clips, giveaways, blog posts so you know the best audio settings for Fortnite, Valorant and CSGO. There's something called Sonar that you have to log in to use. It's a shame because the engine and the software configuration is easy to use and well laid out. If it was just this, I'd say that it was excellent because it's very clear, but it's filled with rubbish. The sensor for this mouse is using a modified version of the Pixar 3335 sensor. It's an energy efficient sensor, so it's great for wireless, but this is also a pretty low end sensor. I don't mean that in terms of performance, although the default liftoff distance may be higher than most, but it's a sensor that features in more mid to low range mice, and this is meant to be a high end mouse. It is fine regardless. I've not had it do anything strange whilst in game, so it performs well. It's just a bit strange that it's somewhat felt like it's cheaping out a bit. For in-game use, I'll refer to the previous mention that the shape hurts my hand. It still hurts. It hurts a little bit less though. Basically it's fine for in-game use, obviously, nothing particularly stood out apart from the awful scroll wheel, so it still performs as a good gaming mouse. For the cost, it is honestly expensive for what you are getting, sitting at around about $100, £100, around about 110 euros at the time of this video. Now I bought this on offer, and I'd honestly only get this on offer. I got it for the low price of around about $55, which is alright. The fact that it's not using top range hardware is a big downside for me, but I'm holding on for a moment as the verdict, this is an average mouse, but I would not recommend buying it at all. Maybe at the price that I got at around about $55, but even then it's a stretch. There's so many things with this mouse that are pretty poor and nonsensical. I feel like this mouse is personally trying to make me annoyed with the intentionally vague battery life numbers to fool people into thinking their mouse is better than it is compared to others, when in actuality it's pretty much the same. And there's nothing wrong with 80 hours of battery life on 2.4 GHz, it's okay, I don't understand the need to mislead people. The final thing is charging an extortionate amount of money for a mouse that doesn't have any leading hardware or the best hardware available. It's just ridiculous. There are so many better alternatives that it would be hard to list them all. I honestly feel sorry for anyone that has paid full price for this garbage, I really do. This isn't even including the shape hurting my hand, the poor wake up time and awful software. When I include those things together with this, I can only say to not buy this mouse at all. That's all for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.